Digital Communications. I learned a lot of important things in this domain, especially about how to communicate effectively. I never knew that the way we text is very different from how we should write emails. I know now I never begin a professional email with "Hey, dude."
There is a lot here for us to go over. Let's get started with the first question.
Okay, what is the transmission of messages over the internet known as?
That would be email, I think.
Yes, that is the definition of email. Can you name 3 types of email applications?
Well, how about Outlook by Microsoft, iCloud from Apple, and Gmail from Google?
You mentioned Outlook. Besides email, what other 2 major functions is included in Outlook?
That would be the calendar and the contacts manager. I use the Outlook calendar for all of my meetings and appointments. The contacts manager keeps track of all my names, numbers, and email addresses. It is a lifesaver. I prefer to use Gmail these days. That is a free service by Google. More and more organizations are using Gmail these days. Everyone should have a Gmail account, particularly for this course. We need to practice getting used to the interface.
I'll do 4 through 7. 4. Outlook is a desktop application. Therefore, users have offline access to email. 5. Outlook also has web-based email capability. 6. Gmail is a free email service by Google. 7. Gmail provides a. 15 gigabytes of free storage. b. Email transmissions up to 25 megabytes.
My professor told us that the free storage limits often change, so we should be aware of that. Same with the maximum file size attachment for an email. Not to worry, the file size limitations are still very large, so rarely when we run into any problems as just a casual user.
We have to know about email etiquette. As you said at the beginning, email is not the same as texting. Especially if you are sending professional messages. You have to know how to write emails professionally. So I'm going to throw out some statements, and you tell me true or false.
Your correspondence represents your organization.
That is true. You are judged by how well you write. Sloppy emails do not make an organization look good, or you for that matter. I find now whenever I write an email well, I get a much better response.
You should email bad news to avoid unpleasantness.
That is false. Never, if you can help it, send bad news using email. Always use the phone or person-to-person to convey bad news.
You should include jokes in your email to convey your intent.
No, false. Humor is often misinterpreted in emails. If someone misunderstands your attempt at humor, you could get into trouble. It is not worth the risk. Avoid it at all costs.
You should avoid using all caps in your email.
True. You should never type in all caps. It means you are yelling or screaming.
You should avoid jargon and text-style shortcuts.
True. You do not write an email like a text. You just sound silly, and the person is not likely to take you very seriously. Email is for professionally written communications.
Bold or underline for emphasis instead of all caps.
That is true. Bold and underline are not offensive.
Emails do not convey voice mannerisms or physical mannerisms, but you don't have to worry about that if you are sending a business email to a friend.
False again. Always treat business emails seriously. Email can be forwarded to other people who might not be your friend. Business is business. Therefore, you must treat it with respect.
Now I will give you some statements, and you give me the answer. Here we go. Storing emails outside of your inbox is known as
archiving. When you move your emails to another folder for storage, outside of your inbox, it is called archiving.
An email that is provided to another recipient for information only.
That is known as courtesy copy or carbon copy. The abbreviation is CC.
You hit this button to reply only to the sender.
That is the reply button. The reply response goes only to the person on the to line.
The reply all goes to the sender and anyone in the sender's to and CC lines. You have to be careful when using the reply all button. Does everyone really need to see your response?
If you send a file to someone, this is known as
an attachment, usually a paperclip icon.
Unsolicited mail, sometimes called UBE, unsolicited bulk email.
That is better known as spam. Yum. Sorry, I just could not resist that one.
If you send an original email to another recipient,
That is forwarding. You forward it.
Added to the end of a business email. Often includes company logos, links to the business, as well as contact information.
Signature. Every email should have a signature block. No exceptions.
No other recipient sees the email address. This recipient will not see replies to the original email.
This is the BCC, or blind copy. It's sneaky, and it happens. You never ever know if an email you receive might have a BCC.
Number 8. In Google, Gmail files are not called files. They are called labels. How do you create a new label?
You click the More icon and select Create a New Label.
In Outlook, you create a new folder by clicking the plus symbol at the right of the username. Also, once created, a user simply drags the email to the folder.
Numbers 9, 10, and 11 are about attachments. There are size limits. Gmail allows an attachment up to 25 megabytes. Outlook is 20 megabytes. Number 11, you need to click Attach, find the file, and click Send. That's pretty intuitive.
12. Can you name 3 things email services allows?
Sure, you can search for contacts. You can merge duplicate accounts. And third, you can create groups of contacts. That's really handy to keep your business contacts arranged.
13. The cloud services make things even easier because you have storage in the cloud, so I don't have to worry about my hard drive running out of space. And cloud allows syncing of devices, so all of my devices have the same contact lists. The best thing about the cloud is that my information is available no matter where I go. I will answer 14, 15, and 16. 14. Business text messages are informal, most often used for internal communications. 15. SMS texting is used for sending quick reminders, short messages about meeting. 16. Text messages are inappropriate for messages requiring nuance/voice inflection, messages that could be misinterpreted. Lastly, bad news is not appropriate for email.
Now this grid is testing us to see if we know when to use a particular communication medium. This should be fun. First one. Use when nuances or voice inflection is required, or a complex topic, or too personal for an email such as bad news.
That should be a phone call. Something that is long or complex should be in the form of a discussion. No one likes to read long pages of email, and they usually don't. We already know that bad news should not be delivered using email. Also, very personal things should never be in email either.
Used for quick reminders or short messages. Do not use for bad news.
Well, it's said for only quick messages. That would be SMS, which is texting.
Real-time messaging similar to texting. Used between peers within an organization. For example, a technical assistant to help more than one person at a time.
That is chat. You would surprised how popular chat is within organizations. Also, it is used a lot for customer service. I got some help last week from my bank using the chat feature.
Allows multiple users to use the same phone call from remote locations. Best used when participants know each other.
That is conference calls. Businesses use that all of the time these days.
Used for sharing content/demonstration with remote attendees.
That is WebEx. A WebEx is like FaceTime, Skype, or any other online collaboration tool. You can have voice, camera, and desktop sharing. It's the next best thing to being there.
Used for impersonal messages. What does that mean?
That means messages that are not personal in nature. That is another way of saying professional or businesslike. That would be email, of course.
Another name for chat is what?
That is known as IM or instant messaging. IM is not the same as text, so be careful with that one.
The next table is a bunch of products. I can tell you what they are. Vonage is voice over IP. That is telephone service using the internet. Apple Messages is chat. Skype is for conference calls. Google Talk is chat, and so is Windows Live Messenger. Viber is voice over IP. The next grid answers are all false, but be very careful. The last answer is very tricky. You have to know that asynchronous means not in real time. Therefore, the answer can only be false. Synchronous means in real time.
Let's go to number 17 now. We just said it. What are 2 apps that support free online conferencing?
FaceTime and Skype. I was paying attention.
What is an advantage of video conference over email?
We know that body language and your voice tones are powerful forms of communication. that is lost in email, so body language and voice nuance.
19. If you wanted to use Skype with just audio and no video, what is needed?
Just a microphone and speakers, I would say. You don't have to have a camera if you don't want. I rarely use my camera.
20 and 21 are about using Skype. You might not know this off of the top of your head, so you need to get online and practice this. In the Skype application, to change your status to Do Not Disturb, you need to click the Skype tab, then click Online Status, then click Do Not Disturb. How about to edit your Skype profile?
Click the Skype tab, then click Profile, then click Edit your profile. Yes, I am going to make sure I spend a little time in Skype to make sure I have this down for the exam.
Now what about Google Hangouts in 22 and 23? Hangouts is a teleconferencing application. You can share your screen images, tables and charts. Pretty much anything you want to share. There are some videos in the slide library, so we need to watch those again.
I have never seen SharePoint, but I know it is a Microsoft program that allows for employees to share information and collaborate in an online space. It is kind of like OneDrive and Dropbox all in one.
26. When you use the product referenced in the question above, do you log into the intranet to use this product? 27. SharePoint allows businesses to do the following. A. Set up internal areas and shared areas with clients. B. Incorporate website building. C. Management tools. 28. A SharePoint intranet the business can create. A. Announcements. B. Wiki. C. Calendars. 29. Internet forum is an online discussion site. 30. Posts are made using an alias. 31. The Organize features allow Gmail and Outlook users organize appointments. 32. List 3 things that calendars incorporated with contact lists can do. A. Reminders. B. Share appointments. C. Share calendars.
Now here is the deal with the rest of the worksheet. Filling in the rest of the worksheet is easy by just looking at the slide in the library, but the exam is likely to also have hands-on questions. Our professor told us we must know how to use Google Calendar, so we need to practice things such as appointments, sharing calendar with others, setting reminders. There are also simulations in the course using SimNet, so that is also valuable.
I heard there are quite a few questions on the exam about calendar, and the questions are tough if you don't know anything about it. I'm going to go and practice my Google Calendar and review the course information again. This is one area I have to admit I might be a little shaky, so I want to really learn this. Plus I had a friend that took the exam last semester and said there were several questions on Google Calendar, and they were tricky.
So, do you both want to do this again for the next worksheet?
Sure. Maybe we can even do an online conference to practice using Skype.